Hello, hello, hello! It is I, Ilamore, and you join us once again for another Settlers 2 Focus On series. And today we focus on the Miller, who is one of my favourite settlers. I'll show you why in a moment. The Miller sits in between the farmer, who farms the grain, and the baker, who takes the flour that comes from the mill along with water and turns it into bread. And he literally sits in between these two. He only has one input, which is grain. He only has one output, which is the flour, and only one building which takes that output, which is the baker. So very simple. And the reason that I like the Miller is because he just sits back and lets the mill do the work. This is his life. Other people carry the grain in. He has to carry the flour out. That's his job. But apart from that, he just hits the button, sits down and watches the world go by. There we go, that's his job, to carry the grain out. Very simple, we're not going to spend long on this. The first thing I'm going to do is just see how long it takes him to mill grain when there's enough, when he has infinite supply, what's the fastest he can do it. Because then we'll set up our farms to give him as much grain as he needs, and then we'll just see how he fits into this system, what we can do to optimize that. So yeah, I'm going to sit here and watch him work for a while, and I'll bring you back when I've got the results. Alright, so on to the bit that I know you're all looking forward to, it's the math. I did 8 observations, as you know I normally do, and looked at when he entered his house, when he came outside and sat down, when he re-entered his house, when he actually dropped the grain, and then we go back to when he enters, and that's obviously the start of the next loop. We find that his workday is 45 seconds, and because there's no wasted time, unsurprisingly, grain becomes available every 45 seconds. 45 seconds is great, that's really quick. It's hard when we look at our farmers, because our farmers give out wheat on average every 78 seconds, 1 minute 18 seconds, as we looked at before. So if we look at the ratio, it's 1.73. It's not quite double, although it can look like double at the beginning. It's not quite double. It's 1.73. So if we try to optimize that, we need 7 farmers to 4 millers, which gives us a ratio of 1.75, and we can see the line as it goes up for the production, and after 20 minutes we just one off, and actually at 21 minutes that comes back into line. So that's about as good as we're going to get. However, 7 farmers and 4 millers is quite a lot in an ordinary game. You're probably not going to get that much. So I'm going to put this down to 2 to 1. Actually, farmers, although if you optimize them, they can reach that 1 minute 18. It's quite hard. They get out of sync sometimes, and so the seasons vary. It's also very difficult to get that precise configuration, and it's actually normally going to have at best 3 fields working optimally. So I feel quite okay with a 2 to 1. You can see that actually the farmer will produce a little bit more, but then the miller mill as much as he can, and at the end of 20 minutes you're going to have 4 extra grain if everything goes perfectly to store away in your storehouse. Now, at the end of this series, when we've looked at a number of different things like the brewery, like pigs, pig farmer, and where all the grain can go, we're going to see if there's ways that we can optimize the farms, because mills aren't the only place. But if you're just looking at farmers and millers, I think 2 to 1 is about as good as you're going to get. 7 to 4 would be the optimal. So if you've got a 2 for 1, how would you set it up? Well, for me, I'd position my farms like this, and we've built these roads and flags just to limit where the fields can go. So you've got 4 here, and they're optimized again so the farmer has to travel as the least distance possible. And then you've got your mill here, which is 2 journeys away from both farms, so you're going to have even distribution. And then the mill only gives out to the bakery, so I've got a bakery here and a well here because the bakery needs water too, and then a straight shot into our headquarters, or if it was in a proper game, probably a storehouse. So that would be optimal configuration. The last thing to say is that the miller is completely untrained and doesn't need any tools. If you have a carrier or just a regular worker in your storehouse and a mill available, he will become a miller. So you never have to worry about running out of millers. There will always be a miller for the mill. So there you are, folks. There's your optimal configuration: 2 farms, 1 mill, 1 baker. Well, we will look at the baker, just make sure that that works in this system as well after this in the next video, the next Focus On video. But for now, I think we'll leave it there. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to work out a configuration for 7 farms and 4 mills, and we'll see if we can do it. I'm not quite sure where the barracks would fit in, because we'd need to expand the land to be able to do this. But let me know if that's something you'd like to see. In the meantime, hope you have a lovely day. Enjoy Settlers 2, the 10th anniversary edition.